we're just pilgrims passing through. And so, therefore, we don't understand it all, but we'll understand it better by and by. And we send our deepest condolences. Well, God bless. Let's get started. February is a very, very busy month. And I'm going to try to do my best to cover as much as I can in the time that I have. So you all just bear along. Buckle up. We're taking this ride together. That's right. We're taking this ride together. And so when you buckle up, we're strapped in for being safety and trying to be safe. First of all, we want to acknowledge that we also have a million things going on. And so I'm just going to name a few of them, and we're going to talk about a little of them on today. We have this being the month, February the 14th will be Valentine's Day. That's right, Valentine's Day. How many of you all are prepared for Valentine's Day? Well, if you really pay attention, it's just the sea of red. Because along with Valentine's Day, we have the Chiefs. That's right, tomorrow, the Kansas City Chiefs. That's right, doing and gonna do what they call the triple. Hey, God bless them. We're just hoping that things turn out where we break history. And so we're saying, go Chiefs, go. But I don't want to skip over too fast past Valentine's Day. And the reason why I say that, this is the time you are when we get a chance to do something nice for one another. And you really don't have to explain. It's just good during these times to take our mind off of things that are heavy on our mind and weighing us down. Sometimes we have to think about the good times and keep our mind focused and not be in distractions and get ourselves all stressed out. Because really, those things don't do anything for us. They bring on ulcers, they can make us sick. And so, if you sometimes take time out to do the small things, it doesn't have to even cost a lot of money. Sometimes just spending time with your loved ones and you don't have to spend a dime. That's what I say, spend time with your loved ones. And when I say your loved ones, those that maybe you don't get a chance to visit often, or maybe do a little something, go to dinner, or go by and visit. Sometimes people just be glad to see you show up unexpectedly. Well, call first, because now you never know. Us a lot going on. But anyway, if you get an opportunity to go by and spend a little time with someone that you don't normally get a chance to spend time with, that can be very, very good and a very good Valentine's Day. And maybe just doing a little something, sitting down talking from 30 minutes to an hour or two, whatever it is, just having a fun time together. It brings on some joy. You'd be surprised how sometimes people are lonely and they never let you know it. But just sometimes to know that they're being thought about, that can bring about more than money. That can bring about joy. Have you thought about somebody that you haven't seen lately? Have you given them a call? Or maybe sometimes just sending a little friendly card. I know I have several friends sometimes, and I don't even think they I didn't know they were thinking about me. And they'll send me a card. And sometimes I just smile to myself to say, wow, they thought enough of me to do that. And that's the same thing way I am. I may not get a chance to visit, but at some time I say, let me send them a card. I haven't talked to them in a long while. And I don't want them to think because sometimes in our busy schedules, just because you're not seeing someone in their face every day does not mean you don't care. I'm going to say that one more time. It does not mean that you don't care. Sometimes time goes by faster than we normally expect, and we intend to get around, but we don't. So these are little suggestions of sending cards, giving phone calls, calling and seeing if they want to be out and about, and you take them out and do a little something with them, or even drop by, and say, hey, I thought about you and I picked you up a little treat or something, or just to get a hug. Oh my goodness. How special on Valentine's Day is to get a hug. Yes, and it just means a lot. It's so refreshing and so warm. It is so much going on, and so many people are feeling so many things. Sometimes just to know that you're thought about. That's more precious than if you had handed them $100 bill. Well, sometimes people need the money too. So I'm not gonna knock the $100 bill. All right. But I am saying, whatever it is, if it comes from the heart, it reaches the heart. That's what I'm simply trying to say. Mama's trying to talk to you this morning, and I'm trying to share little tips of things that can bring joy to someone. And you'd be surprised. Sometimes you're going to bring them joy. And after you leave, you realize how much it affected you and also brought you joy. When we start doing more things once more again, reaching out to one another, it means a lot. We have gotten so distant. I'm going to say this again. We have gotten so distant with one another. Sometimes we barely even, and I think that's what brings on a problem when it comes to communicating. Sometimes we don't even communicate well because we haven't been communicating. That's right. I have to say that. We have gotten to the point that we have gotten so distant that we really don't communicate well. And a lot of times we don't intend to, but time goes by so fast. And when we look up, we have distanced ourselves. And where we're thinking is others, sometimes we have to do a research and say, is it me? Have I stopped communicating or is it them? I know that that's kind of like the phone call. When the phone's not ringing and you're the only one calling out, you'll be like, well, wonder where everybody said I'm constantly calling, but nobody's calling me. And it makes you wonder. And then yet everybody has a cell phone. Everybody has a phone. So somebody's calling somebody. So sometimes we're doing and showing telltale signs and don't even know it, that we have left others out. And we have to say, I'm looking for a phone call from them, but how often have I called them? That's right. I have to open up the door. In order to have a good friend, you have to show yourself friendly. And sometimes it's not that that person has forgot about you, but have you forgot about them? Not intentionally, but sometimes we just get so in the habit of being the receiver that we don't realize that sometimes we have to be the giver. Yes, that's right. And then even in being a giver, you don't want to always just be the giver either. It's good to let it know that phone operates two ways. The same way that it calls out, it also receives in. Did you hear what I said? It works two ways. That's right. In order to stay in touch, we all must play a part in showing one another that we miss them and care about them. It doesn't take a long time. Sometimes it's just a minute or two just to say, hey, I'm not going to be talking long. Don't have a lot to talk about. But I do want you to know that you're on my mind and you're on my heart. And I want you to know I'm thinking about you today. You'll be surprised. That can go a long ways. And you haven't gotten yourself caught up in any calamity or anything, just to let a person know, I'm here, you're here, and I appreciate you. We don't understand the value sometimes of a person until they're missing. We don't want that to be our story. We want people to know that we care about them, even if we don't talk long time, just enough to say, you are on my heart and my mind. All right. And then on Valentine's Day, that gives you a way to enter into it without being too mushy, but at the same time being a little mushy. All right. All right. So much for that. And another thing, too, I would like to say to each and every one of you all on tomorrow. That's right. On that great day tomorrow of the Chiefs. All right. Not before Jesus, but before the Chiefs. I would like to say to each and every one of you all, be safe. That's right. I'm going to say it. Be safe. And even if you get happy, be sure to, if you're someone that are doing activities, I know a lot of people are planning gatherings at their homes and stuff. You all, let's come together. Let's be loving toward one another. Let's enjoy it. And if the history making event happens, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Go, Chiefs, go. Yes, we're rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs. You see, I have my red on. I'm ready for Valentine's Day and also for that victory on tomorrow. We're looking forward to. And I have to say this. The Chiefs have played an outstanding game. I believe it's like 17-2. Pastor Canty's not here to let me know actually because he's really the guru on the sports and things. But I think they did an outstanding job this year. And Deacon, he usually keeps up with him. In one year, him and Sister Walker, and he had on these pajamas. I told him, I said, Deacon, don't take those pajamas off because as long as you're wearing it, it looks like they're winning. And we would joke about it. But those are the cute things and the families that come together and it brings people together again. You get a chance to enjoy one another. When you go to the homes and stuff, let's all get along in love. Let's root for those Kansas City Chiefs. Let's watch them do the three victory, bring it on back home to Kansas City. And then when we come together, let's be peaceful. Let's be loving. I'm going to tell you what happened the other night when they won the game. The Chiefs keep you on edge. I got to talk about this for a minute. Y'all excuse mama. And I can't hardly watch them because they too much for my blood pressure. So when I get to a certain point and they're leading, I usually say, well, I'm going to click out for a minute because I don't want to change the atmosphere because they play it tight. But anyway, I had changed the channel because it wasn't that I didn't care and it wasn't that I didn't want to watch, but they're a little bit hard on my blood pressure. And so anyway, I went and I was sitting down, and all of a sudden, a little later, I had forgot. I heard these gunshots going off, and I said, "Oh my goodness, the people that got so upset about the Chiefs." I said, "They done started shooting," and they were shooting because of the victory. And so I'm saying this to say, if you're pulling out your weapons, be very, very careful because those bullets do come down, and we don't want anyone to get hurt. And also, too, we want to keep each and every one of you all safe as well. But I just wanted to have a little fun because it brings so much joy to have so much excitement. I was over at the Shop and Go, the Quick Trip, getting my gas, and a lady came out, and everybody was so jubilant and so happy. And so the lady said, she stopped me. She says, "Honey, what are you doing tomorrow?" And so I thought, okay. I said, well, I'm going to be praising God and thankful for another day's journey. I said, what's going on? She said, well, yes, but what are you really doing tomorrow? So I'm looking like, but have I missed it? I like tomorrow. And so I said, ma'am, I'm not trying to be funny. Uh, what are you going to be doing tomorrow? She said, everybody in town knows what's going on tomorrow. And so I'm thinking like, well, what is going on tomorrow? Today's Friday, tomorrow's Saturday. So I said, probably my regular routine. I said, ma'am, are they having a parade somewhere or something? She says, parade? She said, the Kansas City Chiefs are playing. So I said, oh my God. I said, they switched the date. So she looked at me. She said, what are you talking about? She said, no, it's still the same. I said, well, ma'am, I thought they were going to be playing Sunday. She said, oh my God, I'm so excited. Tomorrow's Saturday. She said, anyway, go Chiefs. I said, yeah, go Chiefs. So then she came back and hugged me. She says, I guess I just got a little foolish because I'm so excited. I can hardly wait. I said, oh, ma'am, that's okay. I said, everybody's excited. So I'm just trying to show you how even in the midst of this, how it's bringing about people being extremely friendly, a little bit of a little bit of humor, and at the same time, Kansas City's on fire for the Kansas City Chiefs. So I just had to talk about that for a few minutes because I want you all to know that that's going to be a grand day tomorrow, and a lot of people are coming together to have fun, going to get excited. But you are, regardless of the outcome, they still are victorious in our sight. They went a long way and they've accomplished a lot. But we're believing for them to bring it on home 3 times. All right. So congratulations to each and every one. And those that have traveled all the way down to New Orleans, I heard they were having a big parade also down in there, like the Mardi Gras or something. And so those of you all that are down there, please be safe. And as you travel, coming in and out, be safe, watch your surroundings, and everything like that, and have a good time. And just be safe going and coming. And we're also rooting for you all in your safety and your returning for the good time down in New Orleans. All right. And also to both teams, I have to say, both teams, we wish you all uh, the best. But we know, we know. All right, go Chiefs, go. All right, all right. So I had to say that. I had to say, we have to be able, even in conversation, and it's good to be serious, but sometimes it's just good to release, relax, and have some fun and take your mind off of some of the things that are going on. And I really do think this is a good thing because it brings a conversation and it brings some joy. And also, too, I'm not saying everybody, but we'll go for because some are rooting for another team, but that's okay. Everybody has the right to go for who they want to. But we're going for who? The Kansas City Chiefs. All right. All right. I had my fun with that. I thought I'd have a little fun today with that conversation. I'm gonna move on because also too in the midst of that, we want to also remember some other things that are gonna be going on, which is Black history. And I want to give you a little conversation on some Black history. It's so much to talk about at the table. And as you can see, today, Mama is just having a little fun and a little enjoyment. And at the same time, talking very serious. But sometimes it's just good to have a little relaxation. Don't take yourself so serious all the time. And at the same time, be able to understand in the midst of it, it's a lot going on and a lot for all of us to engage in. Well, I decided it's Black history. And so since it is Black History, I brought along some conversation for us to talk about and discuss, which I thought was a good Black History segment for us to discuss and talk about. And so I wanted to talk about these two uh, people, and they are the two sisters, Venus and Serena Williams. That's right. When we talk about Black history, our very own, we're very proud of. And even though we haven't talked about them in a while, I decided to talk about these two sisters. We don't want them to be forgotten. You'll be surprised how the next generation, even us, we stop talking about our own history. That's something that we should never, ever stop doing. Even when the people retire or they quit playing or whatever, we should always keep this history amongst our people. And not only in February, you all, 365 days out of a year, there's history and there's people that we can talk about and find out about. Just like we found out about in the movie 6888, when those women, those gallant women of the military, and in the movie, I had even just heard about myself. And when I watched that movie, it was so powerful to watch those ladies in the military. And as the lady told her story, how it started out behind a love affair, and how she ended up joining the military, and she got in this particular branch of the army, and they were dealing with the male. And in doing so, and dealing with the male, because she was really trying to find out, because the love of her life, in which she was a Black lady, and she was in love with a young white guy, and she was a young white lady, where she went because she wanted to find out what happened to him, and at the same time try to ease her pain. And she got in this platoon with these Black women, and in the midst of being in the midst of them, uh, she they had a hard task. It was not easy. There was no system set up. They had to set up a mailing system where they were trying to get the mail, because so many people were getting frustrated because the men and the families were not getting their mail, and they were so essential. And they figured out a way, out of all those millions and millions of mail, figured out how to route that mail, now to bring up the morale and all the things that were going on in the family, waiting to find out what happened to their lost ones, and if they got a chance to have a last request or what. These ladies were so gallant that they brought back an inspiration to each one of these families and the soldiers by figuring out this mail. Sometimes we don't know how vital something is until we don't have it. They had lost communication. It was so, and a lot of times the mail in the military meant so lot, because it gave the morale and the men the strength to continue fighting, and knowing that their families have not forgotten about them. And also the families, it kept them on their toes and caring about their loved ones that had went off to war. And so that is a very good movie for Black history, if you get to see it, if you haven't already seen it. And I just kind of gave you a little sketch of it, but I'm telling you these things to let you know how vital it is, and how much we have played a part in everything that has happened in the world. And that how sometimes the things that we do, they go by like it's not that important and not that essential. Who knew that it was an all Black female? Somebody knew it, but we didn't ever hear the story of how diligent it was, and they worked until just recently to have someone put it out. And this is a true, it's not just made up. This actually occurred. This is a true story about the ladies in this platoon in the military, and how hard they fought, the obstacles they went, how they were given so much rejection, but they still hung on in there, and they got it done, and they ended up being saluted. It brought so much pain and misery to those who did not understand what happened to their loved ones. It brought so much joy to those that started getting their mail, that when they did come back home, they were saluted and honored, even by their male counterparts, that, and also whites that did not approve of them at first. But then when they seen how much joy they brought by people beginning to get the mail, and knowing that their families did not forget about them. So I just wanted to kind of touch off on that. I might not have given it to the greatest extent, but I'm trying to let you know how all down through history we have been so vital. So we have Venus and Serena, and they're from Compton, California. It's not actually the tennis capital of the world, but that didn't stop Richard or Arsene Williams from teaching the sport to their youngest daughters, Venus and Serena. and telling them that one day they will be the top of the tennis player in the world. The lesson took Serena played in her first tournament when she was 4. 4 years old. Look at that. It's never too young. Sometimes we don't let our children use the best of their mind. Don't let anybody tell you that what your child can do and cannot do. When we invest in them, hey, we're talking about a gold mine. They can do all things through Christ, which strengthens them. All right. And by the time they were 10, she had gone unbeaten at 63 games. She went from 4 years old to 10, and now they're winning 63 games. This is Venus. Today, with a powerful serve that amazes the audience and dazzles competition, Venus and Serena have indeed become the top 2 players in the world, with a total of more than 8 Grand Slam titles, including in winning the French Opening, Wimbledon, the United States Opening, the Australia Opening Championship, individuals as a double partner, and they are economical force and a multi-million-dollar endorsement deals, keeping it, look at there, through tennis. Whoever would have thought and I imagine back during that time, maybe the daddy might even been laughed at, putting his daughters in there and working so viciously to help them achieve it. But look what came out of the outcome. See, when one person doesn't see your vision, don't you let anybody destroy your vision. You don't know where it might take you to. And even if it doesn't take you to this height, just the fact of you accomplishing what you set out to do, because it may not mean a lot to everybody, but if it means a lot to you, go for it. All right. And it says they also have the force of a multi-million-dollar endorsement deals. Look at that. Not only are they playing and being recognized, but these girls is into the money. All right. They're making multi-million-dollar deals. Okay. Venus and Serena lived together at this time in Florida. When I got this history book report, this is what says, and I'm quite sure as of today, because we know they're not playing as regular as they were when this was written. But at the same time, this is letting you know their beginnings, okay? And it says, in keeping it closer to home, Venus and Serena, when they lived together in Florida, but not far from their parents. But the world didn't always see things the Williams ways. Conventional wisdom had it in order to succeed or to the pro circuit. Preteens and teens should first play their junior sites. Their father thought differently. In 1996, he took Venus off the junior circuit so she could be concentrating on her studies. The tennis establishment lambasted him, saying that he was limiting her potentials. Richard reasoned with Venus already had an amp competition, Serena. Venus and Serena are not just playing the game like champions. The sisters are rewriting in sports history. These young ladies, they did it their way. I want to say it again. They did it their way. 2 sisters and a father and a mother that seen something in their children that no one else seen, and they went on to fulfill the dream. Sometimes, too, people might not understand what you're doing, but you're establishing and setting history. And now, even today, they are worldwide known. That is the history on Venus and Serena. But we won't stop there, because we know that there's another man that we don't talk about. Venus and Serena are still yet living, but we still need to remember Muhammad Ali. That's right, Muhammad Ali. I'm talking about Black history. Sometimes we need to go back and rekindle. And even though sometimes it seems like a lot of people might already know, we pass our history off so easy, and we have phenomenal, when I say phenomenal, we have phenomenal achievements that we don't even talk about. We don't even share with our children. And sometimes, too, they don't know that they, too, today might be the next phenomenal achiever, as only we let them know who and what they are and how valuable they are. That's right. We must keep our history alive. Muhammad Ali risked fame and fortune to stand by his convictions and his people. When Muhammad Ali was still a kid, listen to what I'm saying. I'm talking about in the last one with Serena Venus, they were kids starting out at 4 years old. That's why I'm telling you, these kids can look at TV, they can quote advertisements, they can sit up and sing these songs and different things, but yet we limit our kids sometimes. Pay attention. Get your child while they're young and do things with them to help them cultivate. That's right. Develop their mind and achieve. They can do great things. Sometimes it just needs to be channeled. And what some people might laugh at, little do you know, that could be a history making moment. I'm sure when I seen the picture of Eddie Murphy and him telling them jokes, and you thought, oh, that's horrible. But look where he went to. He's a millionaire. Look where he went. What might not be for one person might be outstanding for another. I'm telling you, history is all over it. And we have great Black influencers. We have great Black achievers. And right here in our midst, well, Muhammad Ali is not with us anymore. So let me continue on. But he is also one that we need to remember. And it says the confidant of the three-time heavyweight boxing champ, he was one day become. He bragged about himself long before he earned bragging rights. That Muhammad Ali, I mean, he can really talk. And I mean, he would when he would talk, he talk with confidence, but he would tell you so confidently. And he hit the airways with a barrage of poetry, self promotions that made folks laugh and stay rigorous on his every move. Yes, yes, yes. He would say he hit and sting like a bee, and he would be bouncing around. And he was one good looking guy. And at the same time, he had purpose, he had meaning, and he made history. That's right. But Ali, known as Clash's Clay, we have to understand that because down through the years, a lot of our people that in Black history, they came about changed their name sometime. He was once Clash's Clay. That's why when he started out in his younger days. And we also know another one that had his name changed, which is Martin Luther King. His daddy, Martin Luther King Sr., changed his name to Michael. And when he changed his name to Michael, he also changed no, his name was Michael, and he changed it to Martin. So we're just seeing that this is not nothing new. This has happened before, and so this is why we have to get an understanding too. Sometimes it gives us more history to understand how some things came about. All right. So once Martin Luther King and once Michael Luther King, now it was changed because of his father's name change, Senior, and he was Junior. The dad changed his name from Michael to Martin, and then he changed his son from Michael to Martin. All right. Don't want to get it twisted. All right. Thanks. And so it says that um, a conversion to Islam was not in the fighting game solely for a flash on the cash. He always stood for something greater. At 18 years of age, he won his gold medal in boxing for America during the Summer Olympics in Rome. But he parted with the converted medal of purpose, tossing it into the river after he was refused service at lunch in a counter in Louisville because he was Black. Wow. Even that he was doing great things, Black people have always been up against it. And at this time, because of the way that he was treated racially, it did not have no value. That he was fighting for a country and getting honor, and then still not honored when he came down. So he threw his medal in the river. You know, when you fight hard for something and a victory and your own people don't appreciate you, and that has happened a lot of times. And so therefore he threw that medal in the river. And it says that he also stood for something even greater. But he parted with the cover medal on purpose, tossing it to the river after he refused to be served at lunch in Louisville because he was Black. Some people stunned at him when he joined the Nation of Islam, and when the United States Army threatened to imprison him if he did not go to Vietnam, he refused to bend. Now, you know that took courage. And here he was at the height of his career. He was talked about uh, worldwide for his accomplishments in fighting. And then it came a time for him to take a stand. And also, too, he was disgusted because the way he was treated, honored one day and belittled another. He wasn't even served lunch, but yet here I am honored as one of the world's greatest fighters to get recognized from this country, but I couldn't even come somewhere and sit down and eat. So that he was very highly disappointed. And then it came time to go to Vietnam. He did not agree with going to Vietnam. And so he did the unthinkable. He decided that he was not going to go, and he didn't go, and he refused to bend. And so at that time, that's when he was took the sentence of jail time. I ain't got no quarrels with them Vietnamese cons, he said. No Vietnamese con never called me a nigger. Ali was sentenced to 5 years in prison and stripped of his heavyweight title. His future seemed uncertain. Wow. Whether you know it or not, when great people take a stand for things that they believe in, even yourself, sometimes there's a price to pay. And here he was at the height of his career, but also to his manhood and his integrity meant far more greater to him. What one person may not do, another person will stand up and do. And that's is what he did. He took his stand. Just like a lot of people did not agree with Tabernacle, but he took his stand. Sometimes you might be that one and only person to take that stand. But if you're standing up for righteousness or what you believe in, sometimes it is not the crowd. Come on, somebody. It's not the crowd. Sometimes it's just you and thee. And this is what he did. He took the stand. And he said Ali was sentenced to the 5 years in prison. And then he was stripped of his heavyweight title. His future seemed uncertain. Fortunately, he was released and appealed on his conviction, and it was overturned 3 years later. He went through the embarrassment. He was stripped. He was put in jail for 5 years. Come on, think about it, you all. 5 years of imprisonment and stripped and taken away all the things that he had worked hard for. And then it looked like his future it seemed uncertain. He was released, he appealed it, and 3 years later. But those prime years as an athlete was lost. All the things that he had put into it, invested into it, was stripped from him. But he took the stand. Ali came out slugging. He's a fighter, y'all. Giving the world some of its most exciting entertainment boxing matches it has ever seen. In 1971, winning fights against Joe Frazier was billed as the fight of the century. And in 1974, it was called the Rumble in the Jungle with George Foreman in Zaire. He became only the second heavyweight champion in history to regain his title. Hey, this is a fighter. He's fighting in the ring and he's fighting outside the ring. I'm talking about Black history. I'm talking about sometimes, even though it might seem like it's all glitter and gold, everything that you fight for and being Black, it was not always glitter and gold, but they stood tall because they believed in themselves and being Black. And we're talking about Black history. These kind of conversations must be had. A lot of times people don't want to rekindle it. They don't want to, but you got to remember. If you don't remember your past, you won't be strong for your future or your present. And so therefore, this is not to bring anyone down. This is just letting you know there is a struggle. There's a cost. That's what the Lord said. There's a cost. And being Black and proud and fighting for what you're believing in and taking a stance, don't look for the majority. Sometimes you might be the only one. You might be the one that makes that stand with somebody like Muhammad Ali and also Serena and Venus and all of those that are in our Black history. Sometimes it was not the majority. It was the few that took the stand. And we cannot forget what they've done in paving the way. Sometimes a lot of people want to move on and talk about other things. You better remember your history. Come on, somebody. Everybody else remembers their history, but we will not let no one take our history from us. It is not only in February. Come on, somebody. Take your children to the library. Let's talk about it. Let's teach them. Let's put positive things in their mind to let them know they are somebody. They can stand up and be proud. It's not about the skin color. Thank God for your skin color, whatever. But at the same time, you are important. You are valuable. You are an asset. You have many things yet to be seen, not only in the past, the present, and the future. And so as it goes on, not only faced his toughest battle yet with Parkinson's disease. He got Parkinson's, you all. And a lot of times people were saying because of the heavy hits and blows to the head and different things, he developed that. He is called the greatest not only for his astonishing athletic abilities, but also for his courage to risk his fame and fortune and to stand by his conviction for his people. That's about Muhammad Ali, Clashes Clay. And we want to let you know on this day, February the 8th, we are remembering Serena Williams, two sisters in tennis, and also to the champ, who will always be the champ, Muhammad Ali. And that's our Black History segment. All right. Well, let's move on. We got a little bit of something else as we come to a close. Pastor Canty, I'm missing him on today. We don't have Wake Up KC. And at the end of each of the Wake Up KC segments, he usually has the tasty topics. So since he's not here today to do the tasty topics with me, and I miss my buddy. All right. But anyway, and we're hoping and praying he feels better. He got out of town and came down sick. And so we want to send prayers his way. And he's resting. And he thought it well that he be still. And also, too, we want to thank Minister Tyson Canty, who went to be at his side. So she's there helping him feel better, her and Pebbles. So get well, Pastor Canty. We're talking about you today at Mama's Table. All right. And each and every one of you all, if you're not feeling too well, you all take care of yourself. That virus is still out there. I know a lot of people are walking around like they think that it's not, but it is. It's out there. The hospital rooms and quarters are filled up. You all, let's take care of ourselves. If you feel like you're coming down with something, they're calling it the flu now. If you feel like it, don't let it settle in your immune system. Start doctoring on yourself and take time out for yourself. Don't overlook it because you don't want it to get embedded into your system and tear your immune system down. So we're wishing everybody that you feel well out there. And we're saying if you start to feeling bad, treat it immediately. Don't let it linger. All right. And don't just lay down on it. All right. So you have to do that. And I know I have had arthritis real bad, and I was laying down. And I thank you, Sister Levita. She called. She said, Dr. Canty, you get up, you move. She said it's better to move. She's my military doctor. She said it's better to move in pain than to lay there and get stiff and get in a worse condition. And so she said, get up now. So I got up. She said, get out, move, walk in the house, do whatever you got to do, but don't lay down. And so, and believe it or not, in doing that, I started feeling better and some of the stiffness began to come out of my body. So I'm saying that to let you all know, if you feel a tightness or arthritis, move. Don't just lay down, move around so you can let that blood vessel or whatever it is so you can get some movement in there and start moving that out. All right. Now I have something here just before I come to a close. I seen this last night, you all. You all pray for Dr. Canty. I'm trying to give it to you because I done got so used to Pastor Canty being with me. So, but anyway, at Mama's Table, and you're listening to KUAW 98.5 on the FM side, Kansas City Global Community Radio Station. That's right. Knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Last night, in listening at YouTube, a gentleman came on there and he said something that really struck my nerve. And I decided, I said, I was like, okay, let's look at this. Are we looking at missed opportunities or are we really changing? This young man brought something to my attention, and I have been thinking this myself, but he went to the grocery store. And he said, and in the midst of going to the grocery store, now hear me out, because we really need to consider our ways. He said, in the midst of going to the grocery store, he came out, and there was this lady coming out. He said, and she had a whole bunch of groceries in a cart, and she was trying to lift it. And he went over and he said, Mama, he said, let me hold it just a minute. Let me put this in my car. Hold it. I'm going to walk with you and help you with your groceries. Is that all right, Mama? And she said, sure, son. And so anyway, he said he did. And then he went back. He said she had heavy groceries, waters, whatever, and sacks of groceries. So he lifted it up and put it in her car. And then he asked her, he said, Mama, you going to be okay? She said, thanks to you, I'm fine. And he said, all right, then. He said, I just want to make sure you're safe, Mama, and you take care. So on the way going back, he said, it was a young man looking there. And he said, oh, he said, you got your mama in the car? And so the guy said, huh? He said, you got your mama put away in the car? And so the guy said, oh, he said, oh, yeah. He said, yeah, I took good care of mama. And so he said, oh, okay, then. So he said, well, that was good. He said, you all came in two different cars. And so he said, huh? And then he said, he said, that's not my real mama. He said, she's just, I give her respect because she's a mother. He said, and the way I was raised, you help the older mamas, peaches, big mamas, whatever. He said, those were our moms. We looked after them. And the guy said, you mean to tell me that ain't your mama? And you did all that lifting and everything. He said, did she tip you? And so the guy looked at him and said, what do you mean tip me? He said, well, you helped her with all those sacks of groceries and lifting that water and stuff. He said, she didn't even tip you. And so the guy said, son, what are you talking about? He said, bro, what are you talking about? He said, she didn't owe me anything. He said, that's the way I was brought up. He said, when we seen our mothers or those older than us, they were moms to us. He said they would correct us and we would respect them because they were older or elder, and we gave them respect. He said, just like I called you bro or son, he said, you're not related to me. He said, but that's the sense of showing family. He said, and that's a sense of showing I'm trying to show you I care about you. And so he said, he said, yeah. He said, so I began to break down the different terms that we used in the day and even still today, how it still plays a part on my life and how I treat those that are older and how I give them respect. He said, even the older men, he said, they sit around and talk to us and tell us, share us old stories and share with us and tell us things about our life. He said, and we would call them dad or pop or uncle. He said, they weren't related to us, but they poured into us. Come on, somebody. Hey, don't miss what Dr. Canty's trying to share with you, what she's seen. But we need to talk about these kind of things. What are we pouring into one another? What are we pouring? It does not have to be my child. It does not have to even be my mama. Hey, it just is the father, not even my father, my aunt. We have to get back into teaching our generations. It's so sad. They can see you struggling and a lot of times won't even offer to help you. And sometimes you're afraid to because you don't know if they'll hurt you. And so what I'm saying is, what happened? What went wrong? Huh? Why aren't we loving and caring about one another? Why aren't we sharing with our kids the respect of the elders and elders respecting the young people and pouring into them? We act like we have gotten to the point we're afraid to even communicate. And I must confess, it has gotten scary. It got scary at the schoolhouse. The teachers sometimes were scared to go in because our children, because we did not teach them this love and growing up and nurturing and how to respect not only themselves but one another and also to adults. What happened, you all? What happened to the sense of family? Come on, somebody. Hey, come on. Peaches and Big Mama. Hey, we knew. We used to go to blows if you was messing with our mama and our daddies. Come on. And especially coming up hitting mama upside the head. Come on, somebody. What is going on? We have to get back to the order of family. That's right. We have to get back to the order of family. Our fathers, honoring them, our mothers. And then it goes two ways. Your sons and your daughters. Hey, we're all valuable to one another. And if we don't get back to this sense of community, come on, somebody, look at how we destroy each other. And we're at a point where we all need one another. We say it all the time, but are we living it? They watch more of what we do than what we say. I got to say it one more time. Hey, they watch more of what we do than what we say. Not only in the church house on Sunday, looking holier than ever. How are you acting outside the church? How is your house looking? Hey, how is your love being demonstrated? It doesn't have to be my child. It doesn't have to be your child. Are we still caring about one another? Are we going back? We need to get back to the real caring and letting our children know the importance of respect. I remember the old time way. Yes, sir. No, sir. And some say, I ain't got to call. I've even heard older people say, why you calling me yes, ma'am? Why? I'm not that. Oh, listen, it's a matter of respect. Hey, it's a matter of respect. When you get to the point where you don't care about how we treat each other, it's easy to hurt someone you don't care about. It's easy to give disrespect. But when we teach and grow them up, the word says train them up. When we train them up the way the word says, in loving and knowing, and see, back during that time, they used to ask, who's your mama? Huh? Who's your daddy? Because they would know by the way, you can even tell when a child responds. You like, who's your mama? Uh, yes, ma'am, so and so, so. Oh, okay. What they're letting you know is, I know your parents, but I know more about your stock by the way you respond and how you act. Come on, somebody. Hey, come on, old time school. Now, I'm not just pushing the old time, it's the today time. We've got to get back to today, actually loving and caring and protecting one another. I can't say it enough. We're in these days now, you all. So much is going on. We've got to push and demonstrate. And I'm talking to everybody. There's none I'm leaving out today. Everybody. We've got to come together and start demonstrating love and respect once more and again. We can do this thing. We all need each other. They're counting on us to divide. They're counting on us for division. But we have to understand there's power. Come on, somebody. I'm trying to say it before I come off the air today. There's power in unity. Yes, it is. If it wasn't, why are they trying to create division? Think about it. And that demonstration that young guy said on that YouTube, and he asked the question, what is going on with family? What is going on that we don't care about each other? I can see you bleeding, it don't bother me. I can take your life and it don't bother me. And a lot of these people doing these senseless killings haven't even never been to no war. Hey, well, we lost our men, we lost our daddies, we lost our aunts, our uncles in war, Vietnam, and different things in battle. But a lot of these are doing battle on their own ground, on the ground that their aunties, big mamas, uncles, grandpas have to walk on, their sisters and brothers. Come on, let's cut that out. Let's come together as family. I don't have to know you. You don't have to know me. The fact that we are human beings and we're all in this thing together. I want you to be able to walk down the sidewalk of my community and feel good. I want to walk down the sidewalk of your community and feel good. If I can't treat me and those that I know right, others feel the same way. We've got to stop this, you all. We've got to come together. Somebody's daughter needs some love. Somebody's son needs some love. Somebody's mother and father, grandparent needs some love. Let's come together in love and unity. As we start this month out, and it's going to be Valentine's Day, and we're talking about love, we're talking about Black history. Think of how ugly it is when we were mistreated and still being mistreated. And a lot of that is going on today. But it stops with me. It stops with me. Hey, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. I'm going to put my light on bright and I'm going to let it shine and care for others. Can you say that you're going to care for others today? This is what the Lord has been telling us. It's not all about me, it's about others too. And when we learn to treat each other right, it's harder for someone to mistreat us. Hey, come on, somebody, because we stand unified together. That's my mother. That young man was saying, no, she's probably a mother to somebody else, but she's a mother, somebody's mother to me. And because she's somebody's mother, I respect her. Can Dr. Canty tell it like it is this morning? I respect her because he's somebody's father. Hey, I respect him. Because that's someone's son or someone's daughter. Parents are looking for their kids to come home. I respect them. Can your mother and father, even when they don't have their eyes on you, be proud of you? That young man, what he did by walking that mother to the car and helping her, nothing but a blessing. I remember I was at Quick Trip and I was getting ready to put gas in my car and it was very cold. A young man ran up and I was startled. I was like, oh God, I hope he ain't up to nothing. He said, Mom, he said, let me get that for you. I said, what? He said, that gas tank. He said, if my grandmother was out here and I didn't help you or somebody didn't help, he said, my grandmother hit me upside my head. And I said, are you sure? He said, I'm very sure. He said, do you want to get in your car? He said, I'll make sure your lid is closed and everything. I said, well, I don't want to have you out the car. He said, Mom, get in that car. It's going to be okay. I'm going to take care of you. Don't you know that made me feel good? I can't identify that man today. But I tell you one thing, I knew he came from good stock. I knew that he had never could identify him. Don't even know if he was an angel. God said, be careful how you treat people. You never know if you're entertaining an angel. We quote these scriptures, but are we living by it? Hey, every day is a new opportunity to get it right. You all, let's get it right. As I begin to close and everything like that, I'm closing in love. I'm closing because I'm saying, I hope this helps somebody. And more than anything, help me. And when I say me, I'm talking about you too. Is it going to help you? We want to be a blessing to one another. We never know when we're going to need each other. And if you're looking at 2025, it's now. It's now. God bless each and every one of you all. As I'm signing off, Deacon, I'm out of here, Deacon. I love you. Tell Sister Walker I love her too. God bless each and every one of you all. Bye-bye. Bye, Deacon. Be safe, everybody.